Despite a late bid in transfer window from Al Ittihad, albeit one worth over 200 million, Mo Salah remains at Anfield. Now, I think you'd be forgiven for assuming that should Al Ittihad have bid in July rather than 2 or 3 days to go in the transfer window, Liverpool would have been tempted at least to cash in on their star man, because 200 million is a lot of money. But in the end, I think Liverpool have done the right thing. Can they replace Salah for 200 million? I don't think they can. I don't think you can replace Mo Salah. It's a bit like West Ham with Declan Rice. There's not one player we could have gone and got that would come in and just do what Declan Rice did at West Ham. I think Liverpool have got that issue here. Is there another Salah out there? I'm not sure there is. So I think I'm going to have to get the next best thing and then use the extra cash elsewhere in the squad to improve overall. 1 step back, 2 steps forward kind of thing. But with just 2 or 3 days to go in the window, there's no way Liverpool could have accepted that bid. But I don't think they needed to, because Salah's got 2 years left on his contract, so next summer he'll only have 12 months. Now, traditionally in football, as we know, that when a player enters the last year, the club he's at come under a little bit of pressure. You cash in or you lose them on a free. That's your choices, essentially. And I don't think Liverpool can afford to lose Mo Salah on a free, especially when clubs are offering 200 million for him. The question is, I guess, will Al Ittihad offer 200 million next summer? I wouldn't be surprised if they do, because does it really matter to them if Salah's got a year to go or 2 years to go in his contract? At the end of the day, he's the highest profile Arabic player in world football. A bit like the MLS getting Messi, they would have sort of had to pay whatever they had to get Messi in there, just for what he brings to the league. And it's a bit like that with the Saudi Pro League. They're investing a lot of money into that league at the minute, but they could go get Salah. That's their poster boy. They've done it. They've got the best player they could possibly get for that league. So is there such a thing as paying too much for him? I'm not sure. Does it matter if he's got 1 year or 2 years to go in his contract? I don't think so. So I imagine Liverpool will be selling Salah next summer for a hell of a lot of money. So how does this impact West Ham? Well, because Jarrod Bowen has been linked to Liverpool, and what this bid does do is it forces Liverpool to plan for life without Mo Salah. Now, I'd imagine they already have, but arguably that's a bad thing for West Ham. Again, because the article in which is linking Jarrod Bowen to Liverpool today states that they've been watching him for a number of seasons now. Arguably going back to when he was at Hull, he was on their radar. It's just that we came in, they've kept an eye on him at West Ham as well. And I imagine that's what Liverpool have been doing for the last few seasons, because they've had a couple of scares with Salah in the past. They've got their shortlist, they've been doing their scouting, and I wouldn't be surprised they know exactly who they want already to replace Mo Salah, because I don't think I say replace Mo Salah, I don't think you can do that. But like West Ham with Declan Rice, there's not one player we could go out and get that goes straight in and does what Declan Rice does for West Ham. I'm not sure Liverpool can do that either. I don't think there is another Salah. What he brings to Liverpool is incredible. There's not another one. And he's one of the best players in world football, fact, without getting down into the filters. So they're going to have to go get the next best thing, the one that can go in there and do well for them, and then use the extra money, because I think there will be, to improve the squad. 1 step back, 2 steps forward. A bit like what we've tried to do with the sale of Declan Rice and bringing in Alvarez as well as Ward-Prowse, and then Kudus as well. 3 players for the price of 1. And I think Liverpool will do similar. But again, that worries me a little bit, because I've almost convinced myself that's what Liverpool's going to do. So instead of them spending 150 million on 1 player, I think they might end up buying 3 players with the money. And that's where we start to enter sort of Jarrod Bowen territory a little bit. It might just be me getting a little bit paranoid, but Bowen's contract situation ties into this a little bit. And I think that's what makes me worried. Now, if Bowen signs a new contract, I relax a lot. But it's a big if at the minute, and West Ham need to sort this out. It has to be a priority for West Ham right now. Get Jarrod Bowen's contract sorted now. Now, before we discuss that, 2 things. First of all, if you're new to the Hammers Chat YouTube channel, please do subscribe. There's a big red button underneath your screen. Just click it, and while you're down there, please do drop a like on the video by clicking the thumbs up. Both things are free, and it takes you about 3 seconds to do both things. They also help the channel out loads, and it makes me feel good. It gives me a little morale boost. Now, the second thing is, at the weekend on Saturday, I popped down to meet no other than Tony Gale. His autobiography came out last week, so we've been selling copies of it, and we wanted to get all of our copies signed by Tony, which he was more than happy to do so. So I popped down there to meet him, and he signed every single copy. So you've already ordered a copy from Hammers Chat. Don't worry, it'll be in the post this week. Hopefully be with you by Saturday at the very latest. They're all on their way. And we've got about 30 copies left to sell. So if you want to grab one signed by Tony, please use the link in the description or go to hammerschatstore.com. And just as a little side note, Tony and his wife were absolutely lovely. Over the last few years, we've been sort of lucky enough to meet some ex-players and do videos with ex-players or people connected to West Ham. And I found one or two of the experiences uncomfortable for different reasons. But with Tony, none of that. I was at his house for 2 hours speaking to him about West Ham. That's all we spoke about for 2 hours, really. And what a pleasant man he is. He comes across really well on the TV and when he does his Q&A and he hosts those nights as well. But what a genuinely lovely person. So anyway, Tony Gale's book's up for sale. Grab one if you fancy it. Back to Jarrod Bowen. He's in the exact same situation as Mo Salah with his contract. Less than 2 years to go. Next summer you have 12 months to go. And the article is from The Athletic today. And when I say he's been linked to Liverpool, I use that loosely. Because the article is more of a who should replace Salah kind of thing. And it's been written up with quite a few names thrown in there as to why this person could or maybe should be the one that Liverpool go after. So it starts off with a couple of the big names like Mbappe, then it's got the Premier League ones in the middle, and then it finishes off with a couple of upcoming young players like Bakayoko. But in the Premier League bit, there's two of them, Jarrod Bowen and Michael Olise of Crystal Palace. So it's not just Bowen. So when I say he's been linked to Liverpool, it's an article by someone saying these are the players Liverpool should target rather than Liverpool want him. However, and this is where Bowen differs to every other person in that article, it also states about how Liverpool have monitored him and scouted him for years now, and also they admire him. That's not attributed to anyone other than Jarrod Bowen within the article. And we know that. We've covered it on this channel many times in the past. Quite a few transfer windows now, Liverpool have been linked to Jarrod Bowen. Now, I've never been worried by it. In the past, never been worried. Because I'm not sure he's good enough. I'm not sure he's good enough for Liverpool. Before I talk about that, actually, let me chuck the disclaimer in. I'm a massive fan of Bowen. For those that have watched this channel since he joined know that I absolutely love him. I don't want to see him go at any cost. I think he's perfect for us, and I think he's perfect for David Moyes. I think he's a wonderful player. But playing for Liverpool is a lot different from playing for West Ham. What you need as an attacker is a lot different. The way what Salah has to bring to Liverpool is a lot different as to what Jarrod Bowen has to bring to West Ham. So I think Bowen is a fine player, and I think he's one of our best players. I think he's our most important player, but it doesn't mean you're good enough for Liverpool. Whereas I watched Declan Rice at West Ham, I think he's good enough for Man City. I don't feel like that with Jarrod Bowen. I feel like that with Lucas Paqueta. I think if Kurt Zouma was perhaps a little bit better in possession, wasn't injury free, I think he'd be good enough for most Premier League clubs as well. But with Bowen, can he sort of do it against that low block team? I'm not 100% sure. I'm not convinced by it. But anyway, that's why I've not been worried, because they had Salah. They've always had Salah. So I thought, well, why would they spend tens of millions on someone to be backup to Mo Salah? It's not like Jota or Nunez, who can play on the left or through the middle, can also play on the right if need be. Bowen hasn't really shown that. There's no evidence that Bowen can be a striker, and there's no evidence that Bowen can play on the left-hand side. The only evidence we've got is that he can play on the right of our front three. So while Salah's been there, I've been quite relaxed about it. I don't believe this speculation. But with Salah going and that becoming a vacancy, and then you throw in Jarrod Bowen's contract at West Ham, then I start to worry a little bit. Because again, is he good enough to open up defences and stuff? I'm not convinced by it. I'm not convinced. It's possible. It is possible, but I'm just not sure. Right, I'd be interested to see what you guys think in the comments as well. By the way, I'm just not sure he's good enough to go up there and do replace Mo Salah. However, you put him in a front three with Nunez and Luis Diaz on the left, they'd do all right. And a large part of the way that Liverpool have liked to play traditionally is, while I talk about playing against a low block defence, they've been very good on the counter-attack. They have been very clinical in the counter-attack in the past. And Bowen thrives playing in a style like that as well. So I think he'd be better suited to Liverpool than Man City, for example. But I'm just not convinced he'd be an outstanding success there. But like I said, we'll see what you guys say in the comments. But why I'm worried, though, is because it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter if I think he's good enough for that. That does not matter. If Liverpool have been watching him for years, that is worrying, because they've watched him for, say, 6 months and thought, we'll keep watching him. Watched him for a year and thought, we'll keep watching him. And if that has happened, and like I said, The Athletic, I think, are a great source when it comes to transfer news, when it comes to information like that. And they have been linked to Bowen a lot, so I do believe they've been monitoring Bowen for quite some time, and that's what worries me. Because in order to do so, they've obviously got enough evidence or enough encouragement that actually this could be the player that we're going to go for when Salah leaves. At 26 years of age, homegrown player as well, he ticks a lot of boxes. In terms of a profile, I can see why they'd go for him. Absolutely no issues with him on or off the pitch. Incredibly hard working. So there's a lot of reasons why I think Liverpool would be after him. It just worries me. And then we get on to the contract situation. Us as football fans, not just West Ham fans, any football fans, when it comes to transfer window, you focus mainly on the players that are coming to your club. When the transfer rumour comes round, you might hypothetically discuss it, but there's a lot of people that have the attitude of don't believe it till I see it. Until they're holding up the shirt on the official website, I don't care, don't believe it, not listen. And I completely get it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I completely get why people do that. But even then, you still tend to focus on the ones that come into your club. So for West Ham fans, obviously we're focusing on Mavropanos, Ward-Prowse, Alvarez and Kudus. Understandably, it's new players that have come to West Ham. Be excited. It's a good thing. To be excited about players your club have signed, it's natural, and I think it's a good thing. When you sell players, we're not that bothered, are we? We sold Vlasic and Skamaka, well, whatever, off they go kind of thing, not part of West Ham anymore. Away you go. You tend not to focus on it too much. You focus on the players you bring in. But there is that other category, which is the players that are already at your club that you retain. And while you're happy to retain them and you're excited to see them again in the new season, you can not focus on it as much. Is this making sense? But anyway, keeping a hold of your best players is something West Ham have done very, very well over recent seasons. We have done. Obviously, we've just sold Declan Rice, but I would argue that we've kept him longer than I expected. So I think we've done well to keep Declan Rice for as long as we did. And we tend to hold on to the best players, the ones that we want to keep a hold of, we tend to. My criticism is when we're rubbish at selling players. So when those players we want to keep probably stay for a season or two too much. We should sell them, but we don't. We keep them. Then they're becoming a hindrance. That's where my criticism comes in. But keeping our best players, we're generally pretty good at it. And Bowen certainly falls into that category at the minute. However, we've got his contract situation rumbling on. There's different rumours. There's some rumours that the talks are progressing. There's talks that he's away to double his wages to get 120 grand a week. There's some rumours that he doesn't want to sign a contract with West Ham. He doesn't want to renew and he wants to leave. We need to get this sorted ASAP. Now the club may know. The club might have already had talks with Bowen and been told that under no circumstances are we going to be signing a new deal with you. Bowen wants to go. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But if there's any possibility of getting him signed up, we need to get him signed up immediately. I think he's our most important player. I do. Do I think he's our best player? No, I don't. But I think he's our most important. I think if you look at our starting 11, I think the other players are easier to replace than what Jarrod Bowen is. Because Bowen is the perfect player for David Moyes. If David Moyes could create a winger, that is what he'd create. Jarrod Bowen. Maybe be a bit taller and can head the ball. But apart from that, that is exactly what David Moyes would want from his winger. That defensive work rate, but has that offensive attack. And then the transition as well. So he can do it in the defensive third, Bowen can do a job. And the attacking third, Jarrod Bowen can do a job. But also in the middle third as well. That transition from defence to attack, Bowen's very good at that. He is good at everything. There's not many weaknesses in Jarrod Bowen's game. Like I said, my concern over his move to Anfield would be, is he creative enough? Does he have that in his locker? That thing that Lucas Paqueta has, does Jarrod Bowen have that? I'm not too sure. I'm not sure. But if he starts playing with better players, if he starts playing with well, essentially a better striker next to him as well, because while Antonio is unpredictable and that can work for us, I'd imagine as a winger it can be quite difficult when your striker is difficult to read sometimes. But Bowen would thrive with better players around him, but it's just the style of play that I have concerns about. But he's perfect for Moyes and we cannot lose him at all. 26 years of age, we need to get him tied down to a new contract ASAP. Souček's is sorted. That is done. Still not officially announced by the club, which is unusual. So when you see these articles popping up, as I have in the last week, with whose contracts are running out at West Ham and Souček's named, ignore it. He's signed a new deal. It's done. He's done a 4-year new contract. So he shouldn't be on that list, but he is, just because the club haven't officially announced it for whatever reason. But Bowen's is yet to be done. Same with Pablo Fornals. Fornals needs sorted. But Jarrod Bowen has to be the priority. Now that this window's closed, I want nothing more than to see an article on the website with Jarrod Bowen stood there with a t-shirt, I don't know, 2028 on it. So then here we go, 5-year contract for Jarrod Bowen. He is pivotal to the way that we play, and also long term. We don't know what's happening with David Moyes. At the minute, his contract ends at the end of this season. He may move on. He may get offered a new deal. I think it depends how this season goes. I think if we were to qualify for European football again, I'd imagine he might get that new contract. We'll have to wait and see. But regardless, even if Moyes was to move on, I think Bowen would be essential for the next manager coming in and picking up this team and running with it. So yeah, I love Jarrod Bowen, and I don't want him going anywhere. The rumours to Liverpool worry me a little bit. It does worry me. Not off the back of this article, because like I said, this article is like a who could replace Salah kind of discussion. But Liverpool have maintained a strong interest in Jarrod Bowen for years now. And that worries me, because we've not got this contract situation sorted, and we need to get it sorted ASAP. Because should Liverpool genuinely want Jarrod Bowen, the Bowen will know about it. Just because through agents, through chit chat, whatever, Jarrod Bowen will be aware if Liverpool want him, and that's a concern for me. Because while Liverpool might get 200 million for Mo Salah, and we've done well to get 105 million for Declan Rice, next summer Bowen will have a year to go on his contract. We don't have that negotiating power that we have with Declan Rice. We can sit there and say 60 million or we're not selling him. Liverpool could very well turn around and say, fine, you keep him, we'll come back in a year and get him for free. We can't afford to turn down that kind of money. So I'm a little bit worried. Truth be told, I'm a bit worried. Not loads. I'm not clouding my judgment. I'm not staying up at night thinking about it. Just a little worry. Maybe come January transfer window, if he's not signed a new deal, that's when I'll really start to worry. But hopefully in the next 2 or 3 months, get that Jarrod Bowen contract sorted so I can look forward to 5 more years of Jarrod, please, because I absolutely love him. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and disappear. If you've enjoyed this book, you haven't read it yet, but if you want a signed Tony Gale book, do click the link in the description or go to hammerchatstore.com. Also, 2 other things. I'll be doing a video with Gonzo in a bit, Scotland-England preview. That'll be up on the channel later tonight if you fancy a little bit of that. And also, yesterday's video, Charlie and Jack did a video. It is superb. Honestly, it's fantastic. Jack's smarter than I am. It just is talking about why West Ham season's gone so well thus far. It's only 4 games in, but they do emphasise that it's only 4 games in. But Charlie's edited it up, so it's got lots of graphics and stuff. And it's probably one of the best videos Charlie's ever done. So well done to Jack and well done to Charlie, because they both worked really hard on this. Jack with his research and getting all these numbers, and then Charlie with all the editing. And in terms of watching it, I thoroughly enjoyed watching it earlier. I think it's a superb video. So you've got a spare 15 minutes, do go give it a watch. It'll be on your screen in just a minute. Now I'm definitely going to shut up and disappear. Enjoy the video, drop a like, comment, subscribe if you're new around here. I'll catch you in a bit.